All right, man. We're live right now. Let's see. Oh, yep. We are. What is up, guys? This is Parent Xbox, episode 45. We have an amazing episode. I think we have one person running late. But for the most part, we have the full crew here. It's me, Chris Righteous, Old Man Logan, and Kid Smooth. KUROIKOI will be pulling up in a couple of minutes. So we're gonna do introductions right now. It is your boy, Dopest J. Been gaming a little bit. We're gonna first do introductions, talk about what games you've been playing lately. I've actually been playing a lot of Quantum Break lately. Game's amazing. And we can get into it. So, Chris, we can start off with you. What you been playing?
Yo, what's up? What's up, Planet Xbox? Glad to be back. So a couple of days ago, I finally was able to beat Persona 5 Royale. As far as I put around 150 hours, 146 hours to be exact. Finally got the platinum, and I loved it, man. I give that shit a 10 out of 10. I don't care what anybody's. Listen, there's a reason why it's a 95 on Metacritic. All right, there's a reason why that game is a 95 on. Like, I get it now, right? So Persona fans, I get what you guys been talking about the whole time. So yeah, I'm a believer now. But yeah, finally got that platinum, and then now I've been playing since yesterday. I've been playing Nier Automata, and I'm going for that platinum as well as I get ready for because there's a couple games coming out next month that I'm pretty excited about, which is East 9 and the sequel to Persona 5, which is Persona 5 Strikers. But that one's more action RPG. It's not the turn-based, so that might pull a little bit more people in because it's a lot shorter as well. Because Persona 5 Royal is 130 hours, like minimum. So, but this new one that's coming out is going to be like 40 hours.
Good.
And it's just an action RPG.
That's how I would rather play me some Persona is action RPG. I'll play like that. I know turn-based, not 130 hours. I don't know how you did that, Chris. I don't know how you did
that. It was a mix of everything. Like, to me, it was just a mix of the story, the characters, the turn-based mechanics, and because it's like a Pokemon game. A lot of people don't understand that because it's like you have to negotiate with demons to get them on your team so you can use them against other demons who have weaknesses and shit like that. So, it was just very addictive. I mean, to me, turn-based is timeless. It's classic. I fell out of them last generation. Well, not the 360 generation, because I kind of got bored of them. But then, ever since this generation, I've gone back and I played some older games, some older Final Fantasy. This shit never gets old because it's like chess. It's literally a game of chess. Since when this chess and checkers got old, they never get old. So, so all about strategy and tactics and whatnot. So yeah, that's what I've been playing. So that's it.
Okay.
Hello,
Chris.
Old man Logan.
All we gotta do is check his Twitch. But
hey, what's up, guys? I'm just making sure that this mic's all good since I just got it hooked up today. I haven't really gotten to mess with it that much, but no. What's up, man? How's everybody doing?
Hanging out.
Yeah, dude. I've been rocking Hitman 3 pretty much all day today. That's what I've been playing. Dude, I'm loving it. It took me a little bit getting used to playing it since I'm more used to playing action adventure games and first person shooters and stuff. So to go from that to a more slow paced, really got to think your moves type style, obviously stealth, definitely a different turn for sure. But I've got about 3 levels done so far, and I've been trying to explore and find, and it's just kind of crazy the amount of ways that the developers have put in the game that you can attack your objective. So I've been having a hell of a lot of fun with it. Been playing other stuff. I've been playing is play Terminator Resistance, Crisis Remastered, which I'm actually kind of a little bit disappointed on that. And then I got I've been playing Star Wars Episode 1 Pod Racer, which I didn't know came out. If you remember that from the N64, that they brought that to to current gen, and I was like, "Yo, I remember playing this as a kid," so I had to download that and kind of live through that nostalgia of it. And Been playing. I booted up like the first Kingdom Hearts. I actually had somebody redeem like 5,000 points on my channel to pick a game for me to play. So then I also started digging into the first Kingdom Hearts as well. So
I started digging into Birth by Sleep a little bit. I'm like, I'm gonna circle back to the Kingdom Hearts game because I want to beat Quantum Break and I want to beat Nier Automata. So I just want to focus on those two games first.
Dude, Quantum Break was like, it did not get the love that I think that it deserves because it was one of my, like when that game came out, that was one of my all-time favorites. And
I wish that game got a Series X update. Like I don't mind the 30 FPS, but to understand how much better that game can feel if it was at 60 FPS on the Series X is like, oh my god, this game had so much potential in terms of performance.
Wait, absolutely. Did it ever come to PC?
Yeah, it's on PC, but I want to play. I'm playing it on Xbox mainly because of the achievements. Like I want to get the achievements on that game. So like I'm willing to sacrifice performance to go through it on my Xbox Series X and experience it for the first time. And the production, oh my god, the production in that game's amazing. Like a lot of the actors that they have inside there, the performances that they're giving so far, with how far I am in the game right now, and the mechanics. Like, dude, I played a little bit of Control, and the ability to manipulate time is much more better and much more interesting in my opinion than some of the abilities that the main character has in Control.
In the psychokinesis.
Yeah, like I enjoy that, but it's great to see some of the things that Remedy's been doing over the years in terms of like the quality and production of their games and how beautiful they actually look. Like Quantum Break holds up really, really well till today.
Yeah, no, Remedy, they're good devs. They just suck at making endings. That's it. Like all their endings suck. Well, I haven't played Quantum Break, but from what I played from Alan Wake and Control, both of their endings were like garbage. But other than that, they made great games. But y'all were talking about Kingdom Hearts, and I actually got that in my backlog. I got the whole collection in my backlog that I have to play and get to. I haven't gotten to yet because I know that's like another that's a lot of time to put into.
A lot of time.
Yeah, I just added it to my backlog now since they got all the whole entire series on Game Pass now. So
yes.
But I was going through with Quantum Break. The one thing that I loved about that, which was unique to that game that I don't think anybody's done, was just the whole fact that there was like a TV show built into it, and the little stuff that you did in the game could pop up, or was it in the? I think the little stuff that you could pick and choose in the show would appear in the game.
Yeah.
So that was I very much enjoyed that game.
It's very interactive in that sense, and like there's different paths you can choose based on the decisions that you make, and they can impact the reality of what's happening in the future of the content that you're playing within the game. So I'm like, I might have to go do a second playthrough and choose an entirely different choice to see where that leads as well.
Yeah.
So like the decisions you make in that game actually has consequences to it, as opposed to Cyberpunk, which is pretty fucking garbage. But we'll talk about that later.
I got a lot to say about Cyberpunk.
To delve into the topics, we have some Game Pass updates for this month that Xbox posted on their website on the Xbox Wire. So you have some games coming to Game Pass. We have Control coming to PC on the 21st, which is tomorrow. We have Desperados 3 coming to Android console and PC tomorrow as well. Donut County, which I don't know what that is.
Dude, okay, so let me talk about Donut County because I've been waiting for that game to unlock on Game Pass all freaking day, and it has the date that is coming on Game Pass is 1/20/21, and I still can't download it. But basically, it's like you're a vacuum hole in the world. Like you play as a vacuum hole, and you suck stuff into your hole, and then the hole grows in bigger size.
Oh, it sounds like a thought.
So like you can like swallow whole buildings and stuff, and just like you start as a small little like hole in the ground, and then the more you suck into the hole, the bigger the hole gets.
That's crazy. That looks like an easy like to get all achievements in like that kind of game. It looks like that kind of game.
It just looks like interesting.
Coming to Game Pass tomorrow.
I've just been waiting for it to pop up. Like I'm gonna check Game Pass right now. I don't think it's still available, but it was like when I watched like the video and the stuff on it, I was like, I wanna play that, but it might have just been popped up available.
Yeah. Oh yeah, also Outer Wilds is coming to Android. Cyber Shadow, Android console PC, the medium Xbox Series X/S and PC, which that game, from what they showed for the PC specs in terms of recommended minimum, is pretty demanding. So, that's pretty interesting. But I can't wait to give that game a try. I'm gonna install that pretty soon. I actually just got the 1 TB external drive from SanDisk for my Series X, and it's been working pretty well. I like it a lot. So,
wait, which one did you get?
Not the SanDisk one, the Seagate. My bad.
The actual
the Seagate one. Yeah, the actual 1 TB one. Yes, I actually have that one. We have the Yakuza Remastered Collection. So Yakuza 3 Remastered, Yakuza 4, Yakuza 5. Those 3 remasters are coming to Xbox Game Pass as well. Android console and PC. That's on the 28th. And then we also have a couple of titles leaving soon. So Death Squared, Death's Gambit, Final Fantasy 15, Fishing Sims, Indivisible, Reigns, and Seesaw are all leaving on the 29th. So if any of those games you haven't tried out, also Gris on PC is leaving as well. Any of those games, if you haven't played them, make sure you guys check them out right now. If you can beat them as fast as possible. And if you want to purchase them, hey, you get them at a discount by having Game Pass. So definitely check out those games. The bigger one being Final Fantasy 15, which was something I wanted to get to pretty soon, but I'll get to it later in the year once I finish a couple of games that I have right now.
Also,
when you gonna play
is
Yakuza?
Available.
Smooth. Which one?
Lucky Dragon. I started Lucky Dragon.
You started like a dragon.
Yeah, I don't know if I'm gonna stick
that's
with
the turn. But you talking about turn-based? That's the turn-based one.
Yeah, it was alright though. I didn't mind.
If you're gonna start, like, to me, if you're gonna start one and get into it, I'll say start with Kiwami, which is the very, very first Yakuza. It's a remake of the first Yakuza because that one is the most well, from the ones that I play, I haven't played all of them, but that one is the most what's the word I'm looking for? Condensed in the shorter one. You know what I mean? But that one gets more straight to the point and stuff like that. Then from there you go to Zero, which is like much long. It's like twice as long. Not twice as long, but it's like a lot longer. But yeah, man, the Yakuza games are very extremely well. They're underrated. Like, I knew about them since the PS2, but I never played them until this generation. Once I started playing them, I was like, yeah, these shits are great because they remind me a lot of the Warriors game from the PS2. I don't know if anybody ever played that game, the Warriors, which was made by Rockstar. Yeah, it was made by Rockstar. It was a licensed game, right, from the movie, but it had its own little, unique little story or variant of the movie. And that shit was, I love the fuck out of that game, like getting into the brawls in the streets and doing like all the different little side quests and stuff like that. Like, that's what Yakuza reminds me of, but like on a much grander scale. So, hey man, y'all should them shits. Like, I already got like most of the games. I got the remaster collection, which is the one that's coming on Game Pass. I got that shit for like $12 though. It was on sale for like $12 on the PlayStation. But other than that, man, yeah, y'all should play those games.
I don't know. I tried playing a Yakuza game. I don't know which one it was, but I need to get into the action quicker, and I don't like reading all that.
Yeah. It's very story heavy.
Like like a dragon, I think I got into like 2 fights in the 2 hours that I played.
Yeah, it's very story. I mean, it's very story oriented. So they're gonna have dialogue to try to build up characters in the world and the lore of the of Camaracho. You playing as a Yakuza and stuff like that. So yeah, if that bothers you that you have to like get into the dialogue and you're gonna be reading because you're gonna be playing it in Japanese or whatever, then I honestly don't know what to tell you. I don't know what to tell you. To me, I think it's good because the stories are real good. Like the story of the first game and Zero and shit like that. Like them shits is fire. Like it's like a good drama, a gang story. So I don't know.
All right. I mean, if you guys want to know what I've been like playing, I haven't really been playing much of anything. I took a break. I want to say the last. I don't even know the last game. I think I've completed like 5 games this month, which puts me on good pace for at least the remainder of the year. Yeah, I've kind of just been staggering, trying different things. See if I want to stick with it. Like I said, I tried Like a Dragon. I'm not sure if I'm going to stick with it. I might download one of the Yakuza games. I downloaded, what's this? It's this one game that came to Game Pass. Is this Torchlight 3?
Oh, that's like a Diablo. That's like the Diablo game, right?
I mean, I could vibe with that. I mean, it was just like, okay. It hasn't grabbed me. I played for like a good hour or two just to see what it was like. I know the Medium comes out next week, and Hitman comes out. I didn't get Hitman. I might get it because it's I might get it, but somebody has to answer this question. Can I go through the game shooting whomever I want in terms of enemies?
Not really. Hitman is more to be like a.
Oh, go ahead.
I mean,
continue.
you can,
but it's not gonna work out.
You only got one life. It's not like you got like regenerative health. And if you want to silently kill everybody, you can, but it's gonna affect your rating terribly at the end of the mission.
Well, let's be clear. Like there'll be some missions that you do that kind of gives you more of a leniency to like for you to get into that type of you can get into that type of action at any time in the game. Like just start shooting people up because I played the older Hitmans or whatever, right? I played the newer ones and it's like it's more the same. So even this new one, even though it's getting a lot of great reviews, I'm kind of like I'll pick this up when it's on sale. You know what I mean? Like $20-$30. But Hitman is a stealth game first and foremost. It's about you. They tell you backstory of the target. They tell you who the target is, right? Then they drop you in the location, and then from there on, you have to figure out how you're gonna take out this target. The great thing that's always been about Hitman is that the freedom of choices and how to kill your target, right? So you could do wherever you feel like you want to go, like in a sniper far away, you can kill your target that way if the level permits you, or you can put poison in their food to kill them, or you can get them alone in the bathroom and strangle them. It's like that freedom of creativity of how you want to take on your target and how you sneak around. That's always been the formula of Hitman. You're not gonna go in there like a third-person shooter and just start shooting up the whole damn fucking club up and shit like that.
The thing about Hitman though is also like it's like you can do. It's about replaying the missions over and over and over again. Yeah. Just because there's so many different ways, and you can learn different ways to take out your targets, and each time that you can go in, you can find something different. So it's not necessarily required that you can play, that you have to play multiple times. You can go through, do a mission, be done with it. But then there's like things that like as I'm going through the missions, like I've realized after I've taken it out a target, there's other things I've found in the mission that has been like, oh well, maybe I could have done this. Like there was like an electrical outlet that you could, jack up with a screwdriver and then turn a water faucet on to electrocute somebody instead of the way that I went, which was just to sneak in their office and take them out. So like there's different ways that you can just go about every single mission. And it's just kind of, and it's all about patience and learning and
adapting on the fly.
Yeah, adapting. Like if this doesn't go right, hey, what can I do to make sure I'm not exposed? Like if you're in disguise or whatnot. But it's definitely a different game. It's definitely if you're just used to like third-person shooters, go in, guns blazing, whatever. It's going to be a culture shock for sure. But I think like the appealing thing to it is just it just takes a lot of learning, and the more you learn, the better the outcomes of your assassinations can be.
Well, good.
Essentially, this game isn't for Smooth.
It's not for me. It's insightful though. It's like some part of me, the gamer part of me, is like, hey, I should give this a try. I might like it. And then the
isn't there a Hitman on Game Pass?
The Hitman 2 is on Game Pass.
Yeah, you never played it or tried it out?
And the nice thing about like Hitman 3 is that I don't know if it's just because I've bought all of them, but you can literally, if you got Hitman 3, and I think if you bought, or even if you got it on Game Pass in whatever way, you get all the Hitman like 1 or 2 levels access already in Hitman 3 as well. So you could just go into Hitman 3 and start from Hitman 1, Hitman 2, and then the Hitman 3 levels are literally just all bundled in one game.
Yeah, that's smart. That's actually good that they did that. Actually, that's actually good that yeah, but like because I remember. Okay, so the last one that I bought was Absolution. This one I have
I had that one too for some reason.
Yeah, this one I was like when I first got my PC. That's when I bought Absolution. Played it. It's a Hitman game. It's like the same formula, right? It's pretty much. And then there was one that came free for on PS Plus. It was like the episodic ones. Remember, because they came out with one that was like all in episodes. Like it was like a 2-hour episode, and then months later it was like another 2-hour episode, or another not even. It was just one level, and then you could keep playing replaying that same level over and over again. So, but this one is seems to be getting good reviews. So if you're into Hitman and if you love the formula, then hey, check it out. Me, I'm gonna wait. You know what I mean? Because I do like the games, but not to get day one at full price.
Yeah. This is what, a $60 game? I know they had another edition for like $75, so it's like
yeah, because it's a cross-gen game, so yeah, it should be $60.
Speaking of Hitman, anybody check out Digital Foundry's review, their comparison?
I didn't watch it, but I seen screenshots.
I watched it.
Being posted, and it's like, dude, like I seen people say that the one FPS dip that was like at 52 was only in one section, but the Xbox clearly has the higher settings, so of course, like when you're in the more demanding section with higher settings, like that's just gaming 101. Like if you're in the section of a game and you're running the game at higher settings, a higher resolution and higher settings, versus a system that's running the game at lower resolution and lower settings, the more demanding game is going to be at higher settings, higher resolution. So if you hit a demanding spot in the game, it's going to like dip your FPS for a little bit, right?
But at that point, you just pick which one you want. You want to rock at 60 or
so the thing is, just because one section doesn't hit 60 doesn't mean that the game runs like shit on Xbox. People need to stop that. And second of all, just because it runs at 60 all the time on PS5 doesn't mean that the game is going to look better overall. Like that doesn't make sense. So the game
looks identical. The only difference is the PS5 is okay. So the PS5 is 1800p, 60 FPS. Xbox Series X is native 4K at 60, and then I think the Series S was like 1080p 60.
Yeah.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Right. Okay. So, both PS5 and Series X, both of them are at ultra settings as far as the settings. And then I think that, then I think that the Series X had slightly, it was higher. I think higher shadows in the PS5 version, right?
Yeah,
it had higher shadows than the PS5 version, and then the resolution is bumped up from 1800 to 2100p. So boom, so the Series X clearly has the clear advantage in this one. You know what I mean? They have the clear advantage. But to me, it's like, okay, what's the big difference between 1800p and 4K?
In terms of how it looks side by side, not much. In terms of how the game, the way the game is gonna run on 1800p versus 4K, it's easier to run at 1800p. I know people on PC that have 4K monitors that they downscale their resolution, their internal resolution, that render resolution to 1800p just to gain more FPS. That's how PS5 was able to. That's how the PS5 was able to achieve a lock 60 in that game.
Yeah, so it's like the performance is a buttery smooth lock 60 on the PS5, and then with the upscaling and shit like that, like that's what I'm saying. Like this is the difference that you really see, right? When it comes to the resolutions that are that high, like majority of people, all these people who you know what I mean, who be like, oh, this is better. Like, first of all, you're not really gonna see that much of the difference, but you do see a difference when like grass is missing from one version on the next version, or this is missing, or that texture is missing. Those are the differences that you truly see. Because even with the shadows, when you listen to Digital Foundry, he was saying that it appears that the Xbox Series X have higher shadows, but at a distance you really can't notice. You have to zoom in to really
Did you
tell
hear what
the
they said
difference.
about the frame rate though?
Nah, I didn't hear what they said about.
No, I'm saying
I watched the
because
whole video.
their thoughts on the frame rate, the drop when it dropped on Xbox was like it's not
One section.
noticeable. The
Oh, was
grass.
not. Yeah, was not. Yeah,
It's
exactly.
not.
So it's like to me, it's like what's.
They said they
Yeah,
could fix
exactly.
it if they enable dynamic resolution, but they said they don't think it's worth it to the image quality because the image quality
Right.
is good. The drop is not big enough to call for it.
Right, because whenever there's one set, and this is what I always say, even like if the PS5, which is running log 60 here, but even when the PS5 and other games like drop, right, whenever it drop frames, it's usually the same shit as well too. It's usually like one or two sections, but like the majority of the game is running at. So to me, it's like that's not really like some type of like clear advantage because one section like literally like you're not even gonna barely notice that or some shit like that, especially if you have shit with like VR like on either consoles, right? Like the PS5 doesn't have it yet, but like I just don't know. I just think it's just like these like little margin like it's just dumb all the way around. To be honest with you, that people continue to like reach and argue about like just play the game because the game is gonna look great on either consoles. Both consoles are powerful as fuck. And then we've been saying this, like Optimus Cole was saying this, that you're gonna start seeing some games run better on the Series X, and then you'll see another game might run better on the PS5 or whatever, depending on how much time that the developers optimize and what tools they use and all that shit. But at the end of the day, they're both pretty much going to be damn near identical. You know what I mean? Running in the same performances, some shit like that. So
This is how I look at
yeah,
it.
but yeah, the Series X, you know what I mean? 12T flaps was supposed to be more powerful, right?
This is how I look at it. I'm not buying multiple copies of the game for multiple platforms. The only like, that's just it. I mean, I'm only gonna the best version of me is gonna be the one that I own. And that's
Right.
that's pretty much the case. The only unless the difference is I can play some of these games on I can play these games on the Series S and then like all right, the Series X is definitely better, et cetera, et cetera. But I'm not gonna get a game on the Xbox and the same game on the PS5. I don't see myself doing that. But
Yeah, and that's a great point because if you're buying these games on your respective system, you're experiencing that game in a vacuum because you're only playing it on one system. So when you ever gonna really notice that? Like,
Yeah, because it would even like
frame rate counter on. Like you don't have that stuff on console. Who cares?
This is why it's pointless whenever fanboys because okay, or not even a fanboy, somebody who's just like, yo, this is just my preferred platform. Like Xbox is my preferred or PlayStation is my preferred platform, right? If you play all your multiplats on your preferred platform, this is why this whole which one is at a higher resolution or what or not is better is because it's not gonna matter because even if say it was reversed, say the PS5 was 4K and the Series X was 1800p. Are you going to buy the PS5 version, Smooth, or will you still buy the Series X version? You will still buy the Series X version no matter what. It doesn't matter if the PS5 version is running better, even though you have a PS5. You're still going to buy the Series. So that's why I don't understand why like anybody tries to like you know what I mean? Be like, well, it's going to be the best version. Like you, even if it wasn't the best version, you still would have bought it for your preferred platform, and you still going to enjoy it, and you're still going to look at the graphics and be like, damn, this shit looks really good. So what's the issue?
That's me right here, Chris.
Yeah,
I got a PS5. I got a Series X. My preferred platform is Xbox, and so that's what I bought the game on.
Exactly. Just buy it on your preferred platform. Like, you know what I mean? Both running at 60. Like,
that's funny.
Right.
But it did bring out some individuals on Twitter like. But so I ain't gonna lie, I just wanted to highlight that because
somebody said breaking news. Hold on.
Nope, that's not true. I just googled it.
Okay.
Don't even.
What was
don't
it?
even look into that.
Talk about that clickbait right there.
Yeah. That dude's trying to.
The hell out of here, geek.
Oh man, I googled that right away.
What was it?
I knew.
Oh, Sony buying Warner Brothers.
Oh,
yeah, that wasn't happening.
All right, dope. What's next?
Oh yeah, so next thing, so DICE, the DICE Battlefield dev said that Microsoft has quite a few unannounced titles on the way. So if anybody remembers, Microsoft had their blog post talking about the games that's coming in 2021.
Yeah.
Some people weren't as enthusiastic about it as others, and they proceeded to clown it in forums. And one of the developers from Battlefield came out and said, "Hey, they still have some unannounced titles." My main thing this year has been saying, hey, like a lot of the titles that we seen last year, we're gonna start to get more news about them, some more gameplay reveals. Some of them were just announced, so we didn't see too much about them. But a lot of those titles that we did see last year in their game showcase, you're gonna start hearing more about release windows. Some of them you might have a release date, but you're not gonna get like a specific date. Like you're gonna have a window of when this game might come out, right? So second half of 2022 or first half of 2022. Showing off more gameplay for them. Like the one game that I'm very excited to see more gameplay of is Hellblade. We haven't seen any gameplay of it at all, so I actually am looking to seeing some gameplay this year for that. So that's something I've been excited for, and it's pretty good to hear him say that because there's been a lot of people that have been chilling on 2021 for Microsoft without understanding that they do have room for more announcements in the middle of the year. So, what do you guys' thoughts on that?
I mean, but isn't that obvious for you? Could say that about I could say that about Sony right now, and not even know what's going on. I could be like, Sony has unannounced games this year, and that's true. And so the same thing with Nintendo. So it's like, yeah, I mean, that's every company is the same. It's the same. All of them have unannounced games that are coming this year. You know what I mean? So I don't know.
I think well, when we go back to the Xbox blog post and you look at those games, like when I read the list, and I tried to tell myself, this probably says games announced so far, which it does, but people ignore that. They're gonna ignore that first paragraph and they're gonna go straight to the list. And you look at the list as it is, I mean, and you compare it to to others and whatnot, it's not impressive. There's Halo, and then there's like kind of a bunch of unknowns. Which some of those games, like I said, will turn out to be great. A lot of them are like indies. So there's, I guess, the crazy thing is that the lack of, I guess, sequels or known IPs is really the concern for a lot of people. One thing I will say, I do recall when Xbox was just releasing sequels and known IPs, they said they don't have enough new IPs. Now they're getting all these new IPs and they're unknowns. So when you look at it that way, it's like, okay, if they add, another heavy hitter and another mid-tier game to like surround Halo, I think that it would be okay. Right now, I'm not a fan of the catalog as of now. It's like there's some games that I'm interested in that I'm anticipating, but this wouldn't be like, oh my god, this is the greatest year ever. Outside of Halo is that. I was like, okay, I know Halo by default obviously is one of the games I'm most anticipated for, but I feel like that's not enough, being that we're in a new console launch year. I feel like the second year, I mean, there was no significant launch titles, so you need something in its first year to help. And I know Halo's is supposed to do that, but that was originally supposed to be a launch title. It's like, what else do you have? So I'm curious to see these surprises. Hey, maybe it's DICE that's probably doing an exclusive with them. Who knows? I mean, they've been rumored to be working with EA on an exclusive title for about a year now. We never saw it at any of these announcements, but I remember it was rumored to be at the Xbox Game Showcase. That never. But it's strange that he would say that, But yeah, man, I feel like they just need something else. A Forza would be okay to pair with Halo, and I mean, I'll keep speaking this to existence. Could Starfield launch? Could we get Starfield, Forza Horizon 5, and Halo Infinite this year? That would be epic. That would be good enough, and you won't have any complaints from me. But
yeah, you still on that Starfield, right?
I don't see that Starfield happening this year.
I don't either. I don't know why he keeps bringing it up, but yeah, if it's a Forza, it would have to be a Horizon that comes out. That would be a good pairing for that and Halo this holidays, because Another motorsport would be cool, but from my understanding, Horizon are the like more fun ones, right? The open worlds and stuff like that. So
yeah, more approachable, accessible to the players.
I mean, I'm kind of excited for the smaller stuff, the unnamed or the unknown stuff that's coming out for Xbox this year, because you just never know. That's sleeper stuff that might just pop out and be absolutely amazing.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure there's going to be a few hitters in there. Like I'm looking forward to Shredders. It's a spiritual successor to Amp, the snowboarding game. And visually it looks great, so I can only imagine what it's like going to look like, and that's supposedly due this year. So, and obviously the accent we've been waiting for. I want to see more second extension, at least on Xbox. I want to see I know they had Scorn on the list, but I'm not really.
Yeah, Scorn doesn't look that great. They have Exomecha. You already mentioned it. Second Extinction. From what I've seen from the early access on PC right now, the game looks excellent. The gameplay looks pretty fun. Definitely better than Bright Memory from what we've seen. We have to see how Bright Memory Infinite is gonna be.
Wait, what looks better than Bright Memory Infinite?
Second Extinction right now. Like the early access gameplay I've seen, it looks pretty good right now. I can't wait. I mean, I said from the Bright Memory demo, we don't know what Bright Memory Infinite looks like yet until we actually get some more gameplay from that, because all we got was the teaser of Infinite. So Bright Memory Infinite, we don't know what's gonna happen with that until there's more information. I've seen a lot of Second Extinction gameplay, and the game runs well. The mechanics work. So I can't wait to get my hands on that on Xbox Series X and give my feedback on that game, so that they can get more support for their future titles if they intend on doing some more games.
What if
I'm pumped for the Crossfire X, just for the single player, since it's a Remedy game. Since we were talking about Quantum Break and Control and Alan Wake and stuff like that, I'm excited. Like the multiplayer side of Crossfire X, I'm not a big fan of. I played the beta and it was very lacking. And the single player being made by Remedy, I think that one's going to be something to keep an eye out for.
I think I keep forgetting about Crossfire X. That is another. That could be it, because obviously the multiplayer, we know Crossfire is on PC and whatnot. The beta came out for Crossfire X on Xbox. Was it sometime last year?
Yeah, felt generic. It was like mid last year, something like that, or August or something like that.
Yeah, pretty generic. But the campaign, like I said, Remedy, Remedy's doing a campaign, so that's obviously it's enticing. And like I said, it could be obviously it could be that game to like.
And I think it's Remedy's first person shooter, right? Like they usually do third person.
Yep. I don't know if it's their first person, but it's the first one I know of. So
yeah, that's what I'm thinking. Because if I look back at like there was like the Max Paynes, there was obviously Alan Wake, Control, Quantum Break. I'm not too sure how far back I can really remember, but I don't remember them. They've had like the same kind of like style games for so long.
Yeah.
That this is kind of different for them to take on.
Swans, man, what's up, man? You there, or am I?
Yeah, no, shit. I didn't want to come in while y'all was in the middle of y'all thing. How's everybody doing up on the panel?
We're doing good. We're doing good.
I didn't know what topic y'all was on, so I wasn't going to butt in or anything, or just
we're discussing Xbox.
Cutting people off. So
2021's like that blog post with their games announced so far, and then obviously EA commenting saying that they'll have a couple of unannounced titles coming, and we also
you mean like the 30 titles? My bad. You mean like the 30 or so titles that they put out? Released, or was it something more? Okay.
They put that list, and then after that list came out, somebody from DICE, said that they have a few unannounced, and then another rumor came out, and I'm pretty sure it might be on this list. I don't want to like overshoot, This whole thing with Lucasfilms, they saying with Xbox, and then I know another. Yeah. So that's pretty much it. We did open the podcast with pretty much games that we're currently playing. I'm pretty much been AWOL this week. Everybody else kind of talked about what they've been playing. Did you have any update to your what you've been playing? Because I know when we last, I haven't been in a party with you in probably a week now, but I know you've been hopping back and forth between.
Hey, Smooth, did you see that? Check out that leaderboard yet lately?
I haven't checked it out because I haven't been aggressive enough. So I know I fell out of the top 3.
You might want to go check out that leaderboard, buddy.
But what have you been playing, Smooth? Like you said, like we haven't been in the chat and I've hardly been on. Like I've been I haven't really been playing. I've been cycling through games to see what I want to get, what my next journey is going to be. And I kind of just been like taking a break, chilling. But honestly, it's been more so work because I've been going to bed at a decent hour now. But yeah, exactly.
The games I did start on Spider-Man Remaster on PlayStation, in terms of something more consistent recently. But everything else, like as for Xbox, I mean, I'm trying. I don't know what next game I want to play because all the games, the big games that I wanted to play, I played and I finished. So it's like trying to find that next game. It's like, do I buy into the Hitman hype? Do I, is the Medium going to be the next game, or do I try to figure out Yakuza?
Like Hitman looks good. Yeah, and the Yakuzas are coming in too. Like at least 3 of them.
Yeah.
But I haven't even been on for real. Like I've been bouncing between Night Call. That's I guess like an indie game or something like that, murder mystery type of situation.
Mm-hmm.
And Cyberpunk, and I just started Donut County.
Wait, Donut County's out? I'm gonna try it.
Yeah, that's out. Yeah, it's pretty fun. Like the score, like the music is lit. Like it's some really bouncy tunes in that joint. But like I just haven't been like, I guess I've been having just like a down moment where I just haven't been feeling to play anything. So like I turn it on, turn it right back off.
Yeah.
I'm
gonna tell you something. This is gonna sound weird.
Good.
This is gonna sound weird, right? Sometimes I get home, right, and I look at my Xboxes, and I may not be in the mood to play them, but I'll look at them and I'll turn it on just to turn it on. Look at the dashboard. I treat it like a pet puppy, dude. Sometimes. So
I feel you. Like because sometimes like I'll look at it now I'll just like pick it up and just look at it, like, 'cause I'm surprised that it's doing whatever it's doing and shit like that.
It's small box.
Yeah, like it's weird shit. But like I was on Disney Plus and I watched all of the Marvel Phase 1 universe shit. Like I watched every single movie. Me and my bro, like we chopped them up, broke them down, talked about the mess ups and the shit that we loved. And I just been catching up on a lot of Amazon shows and shit like that. Some films I missed, but yeah, shit. It just hasn't been like anything. Like I'm hoping. No, I saw Atomic Heart, and that game I've been looking forward to for years.
Yeah, they show that game once a year. It's like,
huh?
I feel like they show that game not once a year. I feel like they show that game once every 18 months, and it's like,
which game?
Atomic Heart.
The Atomic Heart. It's. Like it definitely shows up, like, because I remember it showed up maybe like they showed like some screenshots. It was maybe like a year or 2 ago, and then I was just like, yo, this game's never coming out. And they showed like some ray tracing footage or some shit like that, where I was just like, all right, so
I guess the zombie horde game.
Nah,
no, see, this the game that kind of looks like BioShock, and set in like a Soviet Union type of era, type of thing.
Oh shit, I remember that. Like that's still that. I forgot all about that game.
Exactly. I've been keeping up with it, and I forgot the developers, like Cuttlefish or something like that. Cuttlefish, but like whenever this game comes out, like I'm gonna definitely drop that. Like I'm gonna get that. So
it looks like that one game. It wasn't so. I forgot what it was. shit. It was kind of like this, but I forgot what it was called, man. But it was, I think it was in Chernobyl.
Yeah.
Hold on, guys.
Oh yeah, shit. And I've been catching up on the final season of Attack on Titan, so understand. Like
I'm so behind on that series, bro. I gotta catch up on
Yeah,
that.
I've only made
I
it to
used to
season 2.
I used to read the
So
manga a lot, and I don't know,
yeah.
I fell off of it, hard body. But I have a question for you guys. Did you guys watch
sure.
the new update that Ninja Theory had on Project Mars?
No, I
Very
didn't. I
insightful,
Yeah,
want to.
I saw
very
it.
I saw
insightful development video that they had.
the couple shots that they did of their engine.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, they made it look like graphically, like yeah, like the the graphics and the screenshot looked really good. Look like it looked like you couldn't even tell they put the side by side picture of like the real life model
Mm-hmm.
versus the in game model, and they were pretty much identical. Like I
So,
couldn't tell the fucking
fun fact:
difference.
just a year ago, like last year, 2020 in January, they first showed off the teaser of that game, right? And I was like, oh, this looks pretty cool. I like this because they were talking about how they want to delve into tackling mental illness and really showing off the horrors of what goes on in people's minds. And after playing Hellblade and sitting down and really like digesting that game, I was like, this is going to be a cool concept. And I've seen some people criticize the fact that this game is only going to be an apartment, but the thing is,
Hold up, hold
you don't
up.
know how deep they're going to really go into it, and it might be a smaller scale project, but what they're trying to do from a design and artistical standpoint of the game is very impressive.
No, we know. Okay, so that part doesn't bother me because that's been done before, right? PT, right? Well, you're in one house, and I don't know how this game is gonna be, but like I mean, like PT, yeah, PT was just a demo, but they fucking like nailed like the fucking heart, like everybody fell in love with PT when they played that shit. So
Hmm.
the one apart, but it's this is hilarious because when I remember when we first talked about the very first time that they showed off Project Mara, right? Last year, and I had made a joke. I said, like, because me when how I can't even talk right now. You know how I always am when it comes to teaser trailers with no gameplay. Like I don't really care.
Yeah.
Um, but I made a joke, and I remember because I said we don't know what this game is about. For all you know, it could be about a mental ill person stuck in an apartment trying to find their medication or whatever. You know what I
Yeah,
mean? I
that's
made
exactly
that
what
joke,
it is. That's
and that's exactly what it is. That's
Hey,
exactly what it is.
but here's the thing. So from playing Hellblade, they really like understood how to like play with your mind in that game and show you like the effects of going through traumatic events in your life. And they alluded to a lot of different things in that game, and it really showed you like the mental condition of Senua inside of that game as you progress, right? And accepting what happens to her. I'm not going to spoil the game for people who didn't play. It's in Game Pass. Definitely check it out. I highly recommend it. But from watching this development video and seeing how they're trying to, because they said they're trying to capture reality perfectly by recreating that apartment. And they're photographing and scanning objects and then using procedural shaders and detail maps to bring them in game. And they find out that while doing this, they're able to capture deeper levels of detail from a particular object, whether it be lint on a piece of carpet and the tiniest thing that can interact with that. And they talked about the challenges that they had with it, but they also talked about how they're overcoming those challenges and a lot of new discoveries that they had with it. And it's really amazing to see. I like the first Hellblade and what they did with that game from an artistical standpoint. And the visuals with that, especially with the Xbox One upgrade, playing it on Series X, and I'm like, hey, the performance mode and the quality mode still holds up really, really well. Playing it on the Series X console at 4K, it looks great. This game being isolated in this environment, and I'm gonna have a video talking about this as well, because to have a 1-to-1 remake of something in real life, like an apartment,
Yeah.
and to put that in engine, and to capture every single detail takes a lot of work.
Yeah, man, I was very impressed because I thought when we first saw that Project Mara trailer, was it last year? Actually, it was January of last year.
Yeah, January last year.
That we first saw it, and I thought, like, nothing told me that it was, like, I didn't think that image of the stairs was the game itself. I just thought, I'm like, okay. I figured the part in the room where, you know, it shows that face behind her. I'm like, all right, that's the game. But the stairs, I did not think was the game. I just thought it was just some nonsense, right? And it's simple because people were saying, oh, that was part of the game, and I wasn't ready to admit that. And then they do this dev diary, and I'm like, hold up. That's crazy how accurate that looks. Now when I look at it, I'm thinking about, man, what other game would I want to see? What other games can you do with this? Like, does it have to be a walking sim? I'm not to say it's going to be a walking sim, who knows, but like could you do this with a, like, let's say a first person shooter, right? Make it look that real, because it's scanning technology, right? What would impact pretty much performance by having the game look like that? That's why I just get curious about, like, you know what I mean?
So are they? So like, hold up. So are they using kind of like? Is it like a mixture of like photogrammetry with it, or is it like or is this something that Ninja Theory has really kind of like built from the ground up? Like, because I haven't watched the video yet.
Oh, so a lot of what they're doing is taking the apartment, photographing and scanning a lot of the environment, right? And then developing brand new shaders from the ground up for those assets. So then they're not using like Unreal Engine 4, Unreal Engine 5 pre-baked shaders that's in the engine. They're developing their own tools for those shaders and then having procedurally generated shaders on top of that material that they might have captured, right? Because you have to think about it, but in this game, there's going to be different conditions that the apartment is most likely going to be under, whether it's dark, light. So there's different lighting situations that might happen. So the actual material that you're scanning has to have an in-engine tool that makes sure that when you interact with that object, that it changes. And a lot of that is procedural generation inside the game. Because you're building these algorithms from the ground up and saying, if this happened, then this happened, right?
Yeah, so it's dynamic.
It's dynamic in a sense, because if my character moves in a certain pattern or in a certain place, right? If my shadow is being cast from my character over the carpet and there's a lamp, I have to have a particular shader within my algorithm to change it right away. And it's great to see that and see what they're doing, because it gives you a lot of insight. You know, we're not developers. Like, we don't know how to make games.
No.
But you're learning more about it, and that's what kind of piqued my interest from seeing that video.
Yeah, no, like, I mean, like, 'cause I haven't watched it yet, but that's why, like, I've always appreciated dev diaries or studio diaries when people are making the sounds that are used in movies or just like recording and being in a studio. Like, I've learned a lot of stuff, but like Smooth said, if this was applied to something larger scale, like a first-person shooter with more physical activity going on, like bullets and like destruction of environments and stuff, like that could be really interesting. But I think, like, for Project Mara, like, I mean, I think like how they really focused on the mental space, with Sinuous Sacrifice, the first one, Hellblade, I think is just trying to like destigmatize mental illness, period, and get people just to not like miscategorize it and just misunderstand it so much. And like, and I think like games could give people a little bit of insight, like they talk to people with psychosis for Hellblade, and then we're going into this could be more relatable, taking kind of like that whole historic, maybe fantasy perspective out of it and putting you in a real world situation, like an apartment, like this person's apartment, and giving you just like the certain things that could set somebody off, that could set them off into their depression, or that could set them off with their OCD, or like maybe this type of routines that they go through when they wake up to when they go to bed, and like just like stuff like that. Like, I'm really interested in Project Mara to touch on that without the whole fantasy part. So yeah, I'm ready for that for sure.
Yeah. Speaking of, I just remember I did start a game on Xbox. It's actually the last Walking Dead game that they did after Telltale went under, and they had to finish it. It was the second half of it was the final season. But anyway, yeah. So Project Mara. I mean, like I said, I've been interested in Ninja Theory. I think of all the Xbox studios that Xbox purchased, Ninja Theory obviously was I feel like the first one to to deliver. Obviously Bleeding Edge came out 6 months later, which beg the death on questions, because you know how we talk about, right, Xbox, they acquire Bethesda, and what's going to be exclusive, what's not. It all depends on when the acquisition happened, what they were working on, when they were working on. Bleeding Edge came out 6 months after the acquisition. They was purchased by E3, right? Of 18? They announced the acquisition of Ninja Theory, and then the following. When did Bleeding Edge come out? Bleeding Edge came out this year in March of 2020. Yeah. Sorry, it wasn't 6 months, but it was like.
It was like 10, 11 months ago.
Yeah. No, I'm just saying from the time that they were acquired to the time they released an exclusive for Xbox was fairly quick.
No, yeah, they got acquired in 2017. And
No. They didn't announce any
2018.
Yeah, they didn't announce any acquisitions in 2017 because I was at that E3.
It was in 2018. Yeah.
So it was 2018, and then Bleeding Edge got announced in 2019 and released in February of this year. But actually, so Bleeding
last year.
Yeah. Damn, you're right. Last year. Damn. Project Mara, right, was Hellblade 2, right, was revealed December of 2019.
2019, my bad.
2019 with the Xbox Series X at the Game Awards, right? Project Mara was revealed a month later in January of 2020, last year. So it's like, I'm not going to compare it to Insomniac, but you know how when Sony got Insomniac, they got a quick return on their investment. They already they were already coming off of Spider-Man, and then they turned around and produced Miles Morales, and then Ratchet and Clank is around the corner. And they haven't even been owned for an entire year yet, probably. If my math isn't wrong.
No, they got acquired in 2018, so 2 years.
They didn't get acquired in 2018. They got acquired after Spider-Man, way after Spider-Man.
No, it was like a month or two after Spider-Man. It was
so
2018.
Spider-Man was in the works for a while, but they acquired them after Spider-Man dropped.
Yeah, in 2018. Spider-Man dropped in, I think it was September.
Yep.
Right, and then they acquired them by like October or some shit like that when they announced it.
Oh, okay.
It was like 2 months. It was like 1 or 2 months later after Spider-Man came out.
Somebody said 2019 in the chat.
Yeah. I think
whatever. That's your point.
I appreciate but the thing is that of all the studios, it's like Ninja Theory. They got they're working. It's a small team, but they got multiple projects. Remember, it's not just Project Mara and Hellblade 2. What is that Insight project thing they're doing? What is it? I don't even know what that is.
Yeah, I don't know what it is either. I don't know what Insight is. We haven't really heard much about Insight.
I thought Insight had something to do with potential VR something, maybe. Maybe I'm wrong. But that's what I thought, if I remember. It had something to do with VR.
Okay, yeah, they're right. It was February 20. Wait, no. 2020. No, tripping.
It was what year they were purchased?
Nah. It's, they keep showing me how much they spent, but it says February 10, 2020, and that's not. They're reporting on how much money they spent because that wasn't told until a year later. Remember when they came out and said that Sony bought them for $229 million?
Yeah.
That's what they reported in February 2020. That's when they finally.
Yeah, but we knew how much they purchased them for the same day we got the acquisition. That was already available though.
So so this one it was reported, and I don't fucking know what they're showing.
Hey,
me,
it's whatever.
I don't fucking know.
Yeah, but
Whatever. But anyway, it's been
Hey,
2 years since they
somebody
bought
said what the Insight Project is. It's something
Is
focused
that
on
isn't
mental
a
health
game, right?
research.
Yeah, so it's not a game. Yeah, Inside Project isn't a game.
Okay, all right.
Okay, so yeah, I could totally see Project Mara definitely coming out before Hellblade 2. I could see because it's a smaller. Obviously, we know Hellblade 2 is going to be the bigger project that they're working on, and this Project Mario is obviously going to be a smaller project. You know what I mean? It's going to be more like in the closed
Shit, if
space.
it's just set in somebody's
Yeah.
room,
Yeah.
like, did they say that it was just set in an
They said it was an
apartment, or did
It's
they
an
say
apartment.
Yeah.
Okay, so it's not them going to work or something and stuff like that. It's not that.
No, yeah,
we don't know. I think
it's just the apartment. I think there's gonna be a lot of clues riddled throughout the apartment, and her
Okay.
the main character dealing with whatever mental health issues she's dealing with, and trying to overcome that. So that's all we know for now, aside from the dev diary that they gave us on the
It's gonna be
technical
about like
aspect of the game.
isolation, right? It's gonna be about like being isolated in this one, apartment building.
Hey, yo, it's
like
probably
that, while
about
dealing with-
quarantining.
Yeah, quarantine. Dealing with mental health. Stuff like that. So we'll see, man.
That's crazy.
Like I said, it being in one apartment,
Mm-hmm.
that's not really an issue. Like at least for me, because we saw it done was like PT. You know what I mean? PT was really good. So we'll see.
Yeah, we'll see. We'll see how the game goes, but from what we've seen so far, and what they're doing in terms of the technical aspect of the game and trying to um bring reality into the engine, and them showing the side by side with the real life sync versus the sync in engine, and a lot of different things. Like it looks amazing. What they were talking about in terms of how they were scanning those assets into the engine and taking photographs, and then coming up with different procedural algorithms to have it interact, and the apartment that they're modeling within the engine is pretty cool. And I like to hear stuff like that from developers in terms of the technical aspects of how they're achieving what they're achieving.
Just to give you guys a heads up, you guys might have already, I don't know, saw this online, but was the dude from Digital Foundry, Alex dude, the Boega dude, dude that's always like owning people on Reset Era. His name is Alex, right? You
Yeah,
got
Alex.
John, and Richard Ledbetter, and then you have the other dude with the high pitched voice, right? So Alex said on, it's funny. He said on, I think, Reset Era earlier today, he said, people may be making jokes about the tools getting better here, but I have heard that build performance has indeed increased over time since launch on XSX. GPU compiler and stuff can be pretty important for GPU performance! Exclamation mark. Just the tools, because I know tools comes up every now and then.
But Optimus said that last week. Remember, Optimus said that. He said he heard from his developer friends that and he was saying that that the tools were part of some of the issues, and that it is getting better, and then that that there's been a recent update that's been kind of helping them out as far as better optimization for the series console. So yeah, Optimus said this shit last week. So
Yeah, we all know this. Console performance tend to get better over time as developers get more used to the potential of the system, and what it's actually capable of. And for the first year or two, you really never see a game truly utilize what the architecture has to offer. And there's so much performance that these consoles have that nobody's truly tapped into it yet. So as of right now, these people that are saying that there's really nothing out right now, or there's no true next gen game, one, you have to wait. That's the first thing. Two, there are a lot of games on next gen already. Well, I wouldn't even say a lot, but there's a couple of games on next gen that show you the potential of what's capable, like what the system is capable of in the future once these developers really get used to it. So that comes in due time. And like a year or two into the generation, that's when you can truly know which system is the most powerful. But another thing is different engines react to the systems differently. So, one game might perform better on the PS5, but another game might perform better on the Series X.
Because we just saw this like over a month ago with
Well, we've seen this over the entire generation of PS4 and Xbox
but
One.
I'm saying with the PS5 and the Series, what's that? Immortal Phoenix Rising, right?
Mm-hmm.
It was native 4K on the PS5, but I think it was dynamic, like 1800p to 4K on the Series X or whatever. So like, there's always like a case by case basis and shit like that. Like, and this is like what developers have said, and Optimus said this last week. It's like, yo, they're a lot more. Both of these consoles, they're a lot more closer than what people realize or make them out to be.
I mean, yeah. I mean, fair enough, but I like the whole. I know what you're referring to on the Immortals Phoenix Rising. That's the 30 frames per second mode, right? The 4K mode. Actually, I played that game in the performance mode, which is I feel like the games the resolution in both.
No, it was 4K 60.
No, the game is not. They have two modes. The 60 frames mode is
okay.
It's not a straight 4K. If anything is dynamic, but the resolution mode, yeah, they're 4K, but the 60 frame per second mode, I know it's a lower resolution. I know it's above 1080p for sure, but yeah, that game, yeah, I don't know. I played it in performance mode, so like, if you're gonna give me with these games, coming out for like PS5 and Xbox, I've only done like really honestly performance mode if it had an option, which unfortunately, like, so Jay,
yeah,
the medium, because you went over the specs a little bit. Why is in that post, the blog post, right, for the recommended settings and ultra settings on PC, why is all of them like at 30 frames per second? Why is there's no recommendation for 60?
Well, that goes to show you. I've been saying this a lot, whether it's been on the podcast or it's been on Twitter. A lot of these games are next gen only. When these games come over to PC, they're going to be much more demanding. So a lot of these people that cap like, oh, my PC is powerful. What are you running? Like, these are people that have 1080s, 1070s. I don't know, like whatever specs they want to throw out there, and it's like, hey, these games are going to be using multiple threads. There's going to be a point in time where you're going to have to require like a 6 or 8 core at the very minimum, right? Or for recommended. And then you're going to have to require a really, really good GPU depending on the resolution that you're gaming at, right? So like for the 4K 30 with ray tracing recommended, it needs a 3060 Ti or a 6800 GPU. And you need the i7 or Ryzen 7. And it's the same thing for everything else. And now you're starting to see SSD requirements.
Yeah.
So for the RT recommended, the RT minimum, and the RT high is starting to recommend an SSD. And I was telling people that, hey, solid state drives are the future of where games are going. We see this with Microsoft Direct Storage API coming to both AMD and NVIDIA, where they're implementing a similar philosophy that Sony and Microsoft are both using right now. Xbox already has Direct Storage API built into it natively. PlayStation has their own solution of being able to stream assets from the SSD to video memory very, very fast. So that's the thing that we're looking at right now, where the next gen games that are on consoles are going to be much more demanding on PC, and a lot of people are going to be shocked. We've seen this with what was that game? Godfall, that game right there. That game was pretty demanding.
I still gotta boot that game up, bro. I still gotta boot that game up.
Nah, they need to drop that shit on PS Plus or some shit.
I'm not paying 70 for that.
Nah,
I said if that game's like 30, maybe.
Not 50. I got it for 40.
Hold up, it's charged 70?
Yeah, retail is 70.
Yeah, they charge 70. Fuck out of here, yo.
They charge 70 for that Day Uno.
I still don't know
still 70.
About the $70 prices, man. But we'll see.
Mm-hmm.
But
yeah, games are getting more demanding for sure.
I wanted to ask you something with like the whole PC stuff, because I've heard from other PC guys, well, PC, they don't have generations, but that's not true, because as games get more demanding, like the hardware increases and shit like that. So it's like when the new generation starts, the base hardware requirements are higher now. You know what I mean? So
yes,
that's like a new generation of like and plus with the new technology and stuff like that, like to me, that's like the new generation of PC and like PC hardware stuff like that. So I don't get it whenever like I hear a PC gamer say, "Oh, PC doesn't have any generations." So it's like, no, that's not true.
We've talked about it on the podcast. Optimus was here to validate it. PC doesn't push the market forward as consoles, right? So whenever a new generation of consoles come out, that's the baseline of where developers are going to make their games for first, and then they're going to do it to PC, right? The mistake that a lot of these companies, well, not a lot, but CD Projekt Red, which you're going to get into in a little bit, is building their game around a PC, right? Building it for the highest spec PC and then try to port it over the console. And that doesn't work. You have to build it for consoles first and then bring it over to PC. And as we get into this generation, and as we start to see games become more demanding because they're going to start stop developing games for PS4 and Xbox One, you're going to see a lot of these requirements go up and up. We're recommending SSDs at the very minimum to be able to run this game with ray tracing and everything at ultra settings, right? We're going to require 2080s and 3060 Ti's for you to be able to run this game at ultra in the highest settings, right? Like you look at these frame rates, they're saying 1080p 30, 1440p 30, 4K 30. They're not even mentioning like 60 FPS with a lot of these GPUs that they're throwing in there. So it's going to be interesting to see how this game runs on PC relative to Xbox Series X and Series S in its performance.
Do you think like is it because everything says 30 FPS? Is it just are they locking it at 30 FPS or is there a way to bypass
the medium?
That? Yeah, for the medium.
It's not locked on. It's not locked 30 on PC. So like in the article that I'm seeing right now, it says if you want to hit 60 FPS or higher, you have to drop some settings. And you have to build something that fits that requirement for PC. So that's something that a lot of people definitely needs to look at. And I'm saying, hey, like the best value right now in terms of getting into next gen is the consoles. Like the consoles are performing really well for these games. High resolution, high textures, really nice frame rates on a lot of these games. The value for a lot of these games that are coming out is going to be next gen consoles, whether it's a PS5 or Xbox, whatever it may be, on top of the fact that these systems have exclusives with the exception of Xbox, with those games coming to PC. But if somebody would come to me and say, hey, what should I do? Should I spend $500 on the Series X or spend like $800 on the GPU that's overinflated in the price? I'll say get the Xbox.
Yeah, and that's what I'm saying.
Like, PS5.
You can, like just the other day, Digital Foundry, they did a comparison with like the PS5 performance stacked up against the PC. And they were saying how the PS5 performance was in between the 2070 Super and the 3070, right? So like I don't understand was like when people try to downplay like the prices of these consoles, especially PC guys. It's like, yo, I can get a PlayStation 5 right now for $400. Build me a PC with a 2070 or 3070, right? Build me a PC with a 3070 SSD. What is it? 16 gigs of RAM and all that shit for $400.
Mm-hmm.
You can't do it. The GPU alone is more than that. You know what I mean?
So and in the current market right now,
these consoles, the performance of these consoles that are giving you, and like all these games are 60 FPS or whatever. You know what I mean? The resolution, whether it be 1440p up to 4K or whatever, that's not going to be really that big of a difference. But like the textures, you see a huge quality boost, and the frame rates is impeccable right now as far as these consoles' performances.
Yeah, they're performing really, really well. To build a PC that matches it, one, availability is really bad for a lot of PC parts. Consoles are a bit more easy to get your hands on. I got a restock alert for PS5 this morning from Target, and I was able to add to my cart. I don't need it because I already have it. I believe in a couple days, GameStop is going to be restocking bundles for Xbox Series X and PS5.
Yeah, I think I said tomorrow.
Oh, really?
Yeah, tomorrow.
So Chris,
I
need to cop me
with the PC parts. Didn't Nvidia say that like the prices were going to skyrocket like here relatively soon?
They're skyrocketing right now. Add-in board partners are increasing prices of their GPUs currently from Nvidia. So 3080s and 3070s are seeing like $50 to $100 price hikes. And guess what? Guess what's great about the consoles? You don't get price hikes like that. They stay the same. They stay the same. It's more easier for you to be able to get your hands on the next gen console right now than the graphics card, than the CPU, everything. It's really hard to build PCs right now, and I'm trying to help people I'm trying to help people get some of these parts. I'm trying to get a 3080 myself, and I can't find a 3080. I just can't with all the alerts I have on.
I want another Xbox.
Dude, like, I can't do it. I can't find it for the life of me. But I was able to add Xboxes and PS5s to my cart multiple times.
Chris, when you getting your Xbox? I mean, your PlayStation.
Who?
Chris.
Shit, whenever that motherfucker. Honestly, I'm waiting on. My wife finally got a job, because my wife had lost a job last year, right, due to COVID or whatever. But she finally got another job, because I had money to the side saved up for a PlayStation 5, but I got caught up in some other things and shit like that. I kind of had to like dip into the funds or whatever and shit like that. So right now, since not my wife is more working again, we get more money and shit like that. And then now that what's his face is in office, he's talking about another a bigger stimulus check. So I'm just gonna wait on that shit and cop one. So yeah, fuck it.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm not in a hurry because I got plenty of games to play right now. So.
Hey man, whenever you're ready, let me know, man. I'll give you some restock alerts for sure.
Yeah, right. For now, you can send me that restock alert for another Series X. I need to find a way to play.
I'll tag you. I'll tag you tomorrow whenever GameStop starts theirs, because I'm off, and I get alerts all day long, like Twitter notifications, freaking Discord notifications. I have all those stuff on, so yeah, I'll definitely let you know for sure. What's good, Addict?
What's going on?
How you doing, Addict?
Nothing. Finally got all my desk stuff together. I bought another desk. I had that desk for like 3 or 4 years. Like, it's time for a change, man. Time for a change.
Are you buying Hitman 3 for us?
You acted like you didn't want to play it.
I didn't say anything to you about that game.
Huh?
I didn't say anything to you about that game.
I heard you on Weapon Wheel say that's a hard pass.
Damn.
I don't think I said that.
You said something related to that.
No, but he said something on Twitter too.
I said it's consistent. The franchise is consistently boring. I'm not buying into the hype.
Okay. I will buy it. I have access to the game. I will buy it, but are you gonna play it?
Yeah, man.
I'm gonna. I heard that it's beating PlayStation 5 in comparison, so I might check it out.
Oh my god! I'm not buying it so you can comment on Twitter.
Make him stream it.
He's not gonna stream it. I've been trying to get him to stream Little Hope for like another week, and we ain't played that shit.
No. You haven't been trying. I'm willing to play. You don't understand. Like you do understand, because I tell you every time. I've had a shit week, busy week at work. So I've been getting home later, which made my availability limited. Now I'm not streaming the game. I'll play the game.
Just like them GPUs.
Yeah. It's just like it's been crazy. At work, and you asked me to play today, and today's Wednesday is playing Xbox Day. Like
that's fine. I didn't say nothing because I knew I forgot playing at Xbox. I didn't say nothing. But we can't here act like you don't be dodging mad games.
I don't dodge. I dodge games I don't want to play.
Well, but what was the game you played like a week ago? People were clowning on you. What was that game?
Paw Patrol.
Paw Patrol. Yeah.
And matter of fact, I'm about to get another copy of Paw Patrol. I think they got like 3 of them bad boys. That's like.
So let me get this straight. You'll play Paw Patrol, but you won't play.
Here's the thing. When I'm playing Paw Patrol, I'm making sure it's suitable for my children.
Okay. So it's now we're saving the children. Now we're saving the children. Okay.
Nah, but Paw Patrol, I mean, I don't know. It felt good, playing that. I don't know why. I mean, it's not like something I recommend for the average person, but I felt good playing it.
You got to play that.
Saving the children, man. That's what's happening. We saving the children.
Oh, you know a game that I do recommend you guys play that you guys all slept on last year? And that's the Fast and the Furious game.
Oh my god! That's a hard pass.
Nah.
That's a super hard pass.
Dude said Fast and the Furious.
All right, I'm just saying.
Download Burnout Paradise.
Burnout Paradise. Yeah, actually download that on my Xbox.
Out of curiosity, how many games have you beat this year?
5.
I'm at 6.
5
games in the month of January. That's a record considering I average 20 games a year. So on this pace, right? If I did 5 games a month, which is not likely, but I I'll quadruple what I did in 2020.
Once you make those 5 videos a month, man. How about that?
I don't got nothing to talk about. And my channel partner dropped me like a bad conversation.
Okay. What's your point? Are you just gonna give up on YouTube because your channel dropped you?
Man, that actually them dropping me impacted me in a lot of different areas, dude. I'm sure you know.
And they were taking a bigger cut too.
No, they took actually the smallest cut I've ever had. The smallest 10%? Cut. It was only 10%. Before that, other partners I had.
Get it. That sucks, but you can't just stop making content because
everything happened at the same time.
These ancient relic channels are going out of business. That's what's happening. They're downsizing.
No, it just at the wrong time. It's just like light on content. I don't really have much to talk about, and then my focus has been more so on my actual 9 to 5 versus.
Fine.
For you, man. For you. Oh yes, we have another piece of news to talk about because this is, I mean, this situation. I'm pretty sure you guys are gonna want to get into it as well. But with CD Projekt Red, it's all coming full circle. It's all coming full circle right now. We had the apology video, I believe, on the 13th. That they posted talking about how a lot of the challenges they had during development, but they weren't too specific. A lot of the things that they talked about was the Xbox One and PS4 version. According to their testings, they didn't find a lot of issues that players are encountering right now. He also talked about their commitment for quality heading into 2021 with several updates coming out, as well as the next gen patch coming in Q3. We had that. And then just a couple days later, Jason Schreier, the Bloomberg reporter, which I'm pretty sure everybody knows about, he talked about how there was a lot of issues with Cyberpunk 2077 during its development 3 days afterwards, which is pretty ironic. You also had the video from Crow Cat, which I recommend everybody watch, which is a great video encapsulating the experience of Cyberpunk 2077 from when it was first announced to the state we're at right now. The article talked about bad practices such as crunch, which is obvious. There was a lot of articles even before the release of the game talking about that. Alongside like making the game with the engine and a lot of different issues. There were a couple of whistleblowers, anonymous devs talking about a lot of the culture and the ambition that they had and the fact that they knew that the game was in a broken state. And the funny thing about it, right, which I find pretty ironic, is that in an investor call, they talked about how they knew the issues in the PS4 and Xbox One version of the game, which contradicts everything that was said inside that video that they released on the 13th. Like that makes no sense. And then you had the studio head, it's Adam something, I forgot his name. He actually tweeted in response to the article, right? Because Jason Schreier also talked about the 2018 E3 demo and how it was essentially fake. Nothing that they've shown in that 2018 E3 demo is a representation of the game that we have right now. And now everything that was highlighted in that article, which is a lot. So if you guys didn't read that Jason Schreier article, I definitely recommend you guys read it or watch a video of somebody covering it. The only thing that he talked about was the demo. Nothing else he talked about really covered or tackled. Yeah, he didn't address a lot of the main topics. So the main thing he covered was that E3 demo, saying that it's hard for a trade show game demo not to be the test version or a vertical slice of the game. And he said, compare the demo with the game. He said that a lot of the stuff that's in the game is actually better than the demo, which I don't know what he was looking at, which is pretty crazy. And then he talked about how there was a watermark saying that the game was work in progress, which we expected the game to be in a much better state now than what we were shown in 2018. So it's pretty crazy to see how the situation is won. So what is your guys' thoughts on this?
I mean, I don't really care about it anymore. I'll play the game whenever there's a PS5 patch version, and that's just $20 at this point.
There was also that the actual development of the game didn't even start till 2016 too.
Whoa,
I saw that too.
So this 7 years.
So they announced the game way ahead before development even started on it.
Wait a minute. So the game development, because I've heard this game was in development during 2012.
Yeah, that's when they announced it, but the actual development process did not start till 20.
So after The Witcher was done,
they scrapped the initial version of the game. They brought in a new studio head. Then they started the most recent development. The version of the game that we have right now started in 2016.
Honestly, they pulled an Anthem. They did the same shit. BioWare did the same shit.
I don't think it's I think that the glitches is pretty bad when it comes to Anthem, but I don't think it's as bad as Anthem because, like, literally they lied about Anthem, which they lied a little bit about Cyberpunk, but
no, they straight up lied about
Cyberpunk. The game's busted. That's the biggest issue with Cyberpunk. It's not like they were very open with stuff being took out of Cyberpunk, stuff not being in Cyberpunk. Like Anthem literally tried to sell you something that didn't exist. Like.
Yeah, Anthem's downfall was that there just was no content.
Listen, this is what I'm saying. When I say they did the same thing like Anthem, I'm not comparing each game. I'm saying in how they handle it because it was the same thing with Anthem, where like they were supposedly they were in development for Anthem for like 7 years, but they didn't start till like 2 years before it released or whatever. That's what I mean, and how they managed and handled it.
I agree there.
Like that. That's what I meant.
The sad part about Cyberpunk, I mean, I beat it. I put like 95 hours into that game. I very much enjoyed it, but it takes from all the bugs and all that stuff. It's like underneath all that game is amazing. It's great. It has an awesome story, interesting world, amazing characters, but they should have came to a point where they're like, hey, this game is not able to be on a PS4 and an Xbox One. Yeah. Let's shoot for next gen. The second, if this came out last year, the Series X got debuted in December 2019, they should have looked at that and said, hey, what can we do to get this on like that platform versus trying to make it work on old? And it's like, it sucks because the game is great. It at its core, it is a great, amazing RPG open world game. But all the bugs, all the glitches, like there was so many times I got frustrated with, like I had a UI glitch where a damn, the pickup screen for a weapon would be just stuck on my screen, and I'd have to literally close the game out, restart it, or there'd be just times that I'm like, you're immersed into this game, and there was just times where I'd be just driving down, and there was just a car flying in the air and just landing, or just random cars exploding. Characters disappearing. It was just like, and for them to say that, well, none of these were there during development, it's just a bold face lie, because I found that stuff within 5 to 10 minutes of playing that game. And there's no way that somebody in the QA didn't say that or didn't see that stuff.
Logan, I wanted to ask hold up, Eddie. I wanted to ask Logan, like, were you playing on PC or a console with the flying cars and all of that stuff? Like,
I playing on the Series X.
Okay, because this is like one thing that I haven't had happen with my 100+ hours into the game. Like, I haven't came across like I've seen some of the glitches on Twitter, like where they showed the car flying across the map or some shit and it'll land or like whatever, and I've never ran into that. So that was like, I thought it was probably tied to PC maybe with that, but
no matter your PC console, like there's
I know what it is.
There was even
they all have glitches and stuff.
Not only glitches, but there was if you got into one of the vehicles in the game and you went into first person view, for some reason, I have a clip I had posted on Twitter a while ago. I can pull it up and share it in the group message. But it was like the second you went into first person view, the light just illuminated everything, and you literally could not see. So it's like stuff like that. You're telling me it's like nobody drove the car in first person to find out that you'd get blinded.
And that was another thing. They said it was gonna be they said at first it was gonna be third person as well too. That was another thing that they said, it was gonna be third person at first, which I thought they were gonna do both.
I don't remember that. When did they say? Did they say it at the initial jump, like where they showed with the girl?
Jason Schreier's reporting. This is what he's talking about. Like they said it was gonna be third person first, and then they switched over to first person. I thought they were gonna do like what Bethesda does and what like Rockstar does, give you the option.
Like, cause I don't
for
remember
first and
them
third person,
think
but
ever saying that when they announced the game. Like,
No, that was
but
like
go ahead.
internal. It was internal.
internally, yeah, it
I
wasn't
think
announced.
when it comes to CD Projekt Red, they honestly thought they were going about to bunker down and let the storm pass. But like,
Yeah.
the amount of hype this game got, you know, the amount of issues this game had, they couldn't do that. And you know,
No.
I personally don't feel like, you know, I think they got caught up in red tape. You know, the investors and management tossed it out there, so the devs had to really take the hit. But it's just like, I wanted it to be worse than it was. I wanted Xbox to rip their stuff off their store. I wanted Steam to rip their stuff off their store. Because, like, to me, I want it to be suicide to release a game broken. And
so Addict. So you don't think that is suicide right now? So like, after, because they're facing multiple class action lawsuits.
Yeah.
And investors are pissed off. Like, they literally told investors that they didn't spend enough time looking at the current gen versions of the games. The Polish government actually gave them a grant to develop this game, and the Polish government's pissed off as well. You have CrowBcat, which, if you guys in the chat don't know who CrowBcat is, this person is infamous for making the Ubisoft downgrades video, which is like, it has a shit ton of views. If you've never seen that video, definitely check that out.
Yeah,
go to his channel, watch the latest video on Cyberpunk. And the thing that's most alarming to me, right, about the game, besides the bugs and glitches, fuck all that shit, right? The fact that the game has the worst AI I've seen in a AAA game. I mean, shit that happens in Saints Row 1, even vehicular traffic AI from Legos, where you stop in front of a car and it goes right around you. The car stops and stays right in front of you. You pull your gun out and aim it at somebody inside the car. They do nothing. They just stay there. Like, that's dumb. Like, and they didn't even address that in the apology video about, hey, we're gonna fix the AI and improve the AI. Like, the AI is garbage in that game.
I think
I had an enemy AI one time. Oh, go ahead.
They made that video for legal purposes. That wasn't to address anything technical on a technical side. You know, and I get what you're saying on that, but I think a lot of it has to do with them being Polish too, especially accepting money from the government to make a game. My thing is, I want the EAs and the Activision scared to do the shit, because as of right now, I can almost guarantee you EA's like, oh, that's cute. We could do that next year. Sure, we'll get backlash, but we got money. Like, I want it to be like, I want it to be like a thing to where it's like, if it doesn't meet a certain status quo when that comes out and is broken, that it's just proactively pulled off stores, because it's stuff like that that's gonna make it suicide.
Yep.
My experience with it, like, and just like when he came out, even before the apologies, and we talked about this to death, it was just like, how do you not know, like, these certain things? Like, these things have to cross multiple people's hands, multiple people's desks before it touches like retail. And I mean, especially when you are the person behind all of this, the just like the game design itself, like, you see this shit before any of us. So how did you think that this was going to kind of like to work out? Now, granted, like you said, like I think you posted in the chat, it was just like a lot of people hyped it up. I think it's just because they gave them the best experience that they could.
Yes,
like
yes,
they were in controlled environments, and they gave them the best specs, the best tech, whatever, to play this game on. If they would have gave these people what the fuck they like, what the majority of people have, let's say like basic Xbox ones, PS4s, like, then these people, like, there would have been no way. There would have been figuratively speaking, there would have been like journalists hanging in the street, because like there's no fucking way that you could have played this on your PS4 and your Xbox One and been enjoying it. Like, how
here's another thing, right? So on that, right, what I show on my Twitter account, make sure you guys follow me on Twitter at Dopeshay. I posted a clip from the video of CrowBcat of not publishers, influencers, or like journalists, and a lot of these different people on YouTube that got access to the game 5 months ahead of launch, right? and they said it was the most amazing thing in the world. Oh my god, I'm blown away, right? So that was a controlled demo of the game that they had, right? But before release, right, they gave their review of the game without showing off their own footage because of CD Projekt Red. Now that's a big red flag for a lot of people.
You know how I knew it was a red flag?
Mm-hmm.
When Dreamcast guy made a video and wasn't even talking shit, and they said, "Yo, take that down."
Yes.
And the moment I saw that, I was like, "Yeah, this is gonna come out hot."
And that's why I put out that post of saying, "Hey, I hold major publication and YouTubers accountable as well because they hyped the game up, and even though they played the game and got hands on with it, and they knew the state of the game, they continued to hype it up because they were under the belief, right, that the game was going to get patched. But if you played the game before that, you understood that it wasn't going to take one patch to fix the game.
My issue with it,
no,
I know a lot of people that played the PC version didn't have a lot of issues. My issue is how you get a 10 out of 10, but you read the review and they state mad issues. Like,
yes,
but they've done that. But the thing is with reviews is that they've done that so many times. Like there've been reviews that have come out 10 out of 10, but then you'll see the negatives in the review. Like they'll highlight the pluses and they'll highlight the negatives, but they never take any points off. And so like I wasn't shocked at that. It was just more so I was shocked at them saying all of this stuff that it's playable, that it's all of this on the base consoles. Like that's lying. Like it's like so it's lying. That was my problem. Like the reviews are people's personal opinions. Okay, sure. They put scores behind them, but when you read these fucking reviews, they do it all the time. A game could be a 9 out of 10, 10 out of 10, and there'll be like 3 negatives there, and you're just like, okay, so how do we subtract this? Like, do we subtract the 3 negatives you have here from the score? Or like, how are you weighing the pluses and the negatives to get a 9 out of 10 or a 10 out of 10?
I don't know how to score it.
And that's
up
to
I don't know either, but
I want to address something real quick. Like, because I see people try to make these arguments all the time whenever people are talking about Cyberpunk. Somebody will bring up, like somebody in the chat brought up, like Valhalla, right? Like, oh, Assassin's Creed Valhalla was buggy at launch, but nobody is giving Assassin's Creed that much of backlash or anything like that. That shit's nowhere near how bad Cyberpunk is. I'm sick and tired of people trying to make these other comparisons. They're
grasping for straws. It's a false equivalency because think about it, Assassin's Creed works. Like Valhalla works. You can buy the game,
on the base
play
console.
it, and it works on next gen base consoles and PC.
That is true.
A lot of games have like some bugs or glitches at launch. That's true. But to the degree that this game has been marketed and hyped, and for it to underperform, and I'm not even talking about the bugs or glitches. Get that out the window. AI is horrible. A lot of the decisions that they talked about that was going to be able to make inside the game, talking about how if you make this decision, that's going to have ramifications towards the end of the game. Some of that stuff never happens, right? You can go up to the club and shoot up an enemy faction, and they will never attack you. And that's Polaris, right? Because now I'm starting to remember a lot of the older games I played. I'm glad I brought up Saints Row 1 earlier, right?
Oh, yeah.
If anybody played Saints Row 1 on the Xbox 360, you had the ability, right, to have your gang go up against rival gangs and fight for territory, right? You'll fight for safe houses and stuff like that. But if you got caught lacking on the wrong block, they will really pull up on you in a vehicle and shoot you up. Like what? Nobody talks about this.
What they should have done is, they would have got a little bit of slack, but it wouldn't have been as bad as they should have. They should have delayed the past gen versions, the Xbox One, the PS4, and they should have just launched the Xbox Series X and the PS5 and the PC version. Sure, they would get a little bit more slack, but like I played the Xbox Series X and I didn't have I had a couple glitches, but I was looking at my friends playing on the Xbox One. They was having mad issues, and I feel like if they would have done that, they would. What it was, they wanted to sell us from the bigger install base. That's what they wanted.
It would have been a lot easier
at the end of the day
if they did that.
At the end of the day,
didn't sold 13 million copies?
Yeah, something like
you
that.
weren't going to get that if you only kept it on the Series X and PS5 at all.
Yeah, they know that, but
they lost way more money in stock.
Yeah, like the backlash overall outweighs that. Like I think like you could have been like a little bit more solid.
I don't think they would have done it again.
You would have got like that less. Like you would have gotten less than 13, but I mean like shit, you would have been able to not. They wouldn't have came out and said, "Yeah, this plays good on the base consoles." I think they would have avoided all of that
guys,
traffic.
because I think this has been going on.
Honestly, I think what they should have done is they should have just released the PC version first, right? And then by the end of this year, 2021, just have the PS5 and the Xbox Series X version.
They weren't doing that.
No, I know they weren't doing that, but looking back on it, I think that's what they should have done, because at least by the end of this year, it'll be a lot easier for people to find next generation consoles, and there'll be more
that too.
Shit like that.
I can. The only case scenario that could have even been remotely possible is that they would have just next gen versions and the PC. Like, because I feel like they could have felt like they could have got a little bit of the console. Because let's be real here. Like, how many of you?
The next gen versions aren't even ready yet until.
But the thing, it's not the next gen versions they needed. It's the next gen hardware they needed.
Yeah.
They needed that extra power to make sure that these damn game ran the way it's supposed to a point.
Because I started out. Oh, go ahead.
No. What I'm gonna say is to close out the conversation of the Cyberpunk. But go ahead, get your point.
I was just gonna say, like, I started out on the 1X, and I mean, I noticed a lot of the pop-ins and like cars at night at a certain area would drive with no headlights on, and I thought that was very weird. But when I got to the Series S, like, it was very stable. Like, gunfights were more enjoyable. Like, all right, man. It was just more better. So like Addict said, I feel like they definitely should have avoided the last gen consoles until they had something stable enough to where you didn't have so many muddy textures, facial, the situations and shit like that. So let's move. My bad.
And I think do you guys think with all this backlash and the responsive for stockholders and all that other stuff, do you think this will cause a CD Projekt Red to either close down or get sold?
They said that it's possible that they can if they lose lose even more money than what they're losing right now, because they're losing a lot of money right now. But that they could go up to be purchased or acquired and shit like that. You know what I mean? But so we don't know.
We have to see a year from now, because based on these patches that are coming out and the next gen update, if the game is in a much better state a year from now versus where we're at from now, I think they'll be fine, because like they said in the video, they're committed to quality. They're going to fix the game. If the game is fixed, it's playable. They fix a lot of these issues, not even just the bugs, but the AI, the immersion breaking stuff that happens inside the game. Then people will give it a try again, especially if it goes on sale. So I don't think they're going to get to a point where they're sold off, because remember, they're their own publisher, they're their own developer. There's definitely going to be a lot of changes to management, and
are they the only publisher? Because Warner Brothers was definitely on that.
They didn't publish the game. Yeah,
they didn't publish their own game.
Oh, no, I'm pretty sure Warner Brothers did.
Oh, well, that's a fun fact for me. So hey,
I just know I saw the WB screen pop up whenever I put up the game.
It's there. It pops up on The Witcher too.
Right, which is still crazy, because them being a independent company, right? I don't even consider them indie. They are independent, right? But to me, they're AAA independent company, right? For them to be just an independent company and had more money than Ubisoft in Europe, that's a huge, especially because they only had one game as far as like that got them there, right? Which was The Witcher 3, and Ubisoft has like 30 games that came out this generation.
No, the thing is with that is that they're still beholden to the higher ups in there, like who fund them, like the government and everything, like them getting the checks from their government and shit like that. But with the franchise, like The Witcher, that adds on like books and like they said, television and shit like that. So I think that's probably why. But
it was mainly
a
the
lot
game though that really pushed that money though for them.
no, but the books did help. Like there's no way
The books
around
didn't
that. And they
sell
got
nowhere near as well as the games.
no, they didn't. But after those games, it's kind of like in the same way that Lord of the Rings or Harry Potter was, but reverse. So it's just like that's how they got the show and everything. And they got to run it through him, just like running Cyberpunk through Mike Pondsmith. Like they got to run it through these people, through these channels. But like for this game, it was I feel like CD Projekt Red is still a talented developer. I think it's just time that really hurts them, and like that's the same thing with Witcher 3. But then also when they're caught up in some bullshit, like they really like stab themselves in the gut a lot. So, and it's just like, I mean, shit, I think like Witcher 3 had like 16 updates before it was what it was. Like I responded to the Tony guy up on Twitter. It was just like a lot of people have these rose-colored glasses of how certain games launch. And it's just like, it's no excuse for Cyberpunk to launch the way it did. But for Witcher to have 16 fucking updates before it was like what it is, I mean, I just hope that the next CD Projekt Red project doesn't need 16 fucking updates to come out well.
Yeah, I don't know. I haven't played Cyber. I've seen all I've seen was all the footages, right? So I haven't played it myself, so I don't have an personal experience with Cyberpunk. But I played The Witcher 3 around when it came out at launch. But I played it on PC and I got it on uh um GOG, right? Which is CDPR's their own shit. I got that shit on GOG. And that shit ran smooth for me. Like it was 60 frames. Like I didn't really encounter a lot of these bugs that people were talking about that The Witcher had, back
Shit, I
then or
played
whatever.
it.
So
I beat it on the PS4 my first run through, and I got a lot because I bought the collector's edition for The Witcher 3 on the PS4, and so like I encountered a lot, and there's still like certain problem areas that I have ran in on the Xbox. So it's like there's like shit where I fall into the map or my horse falls into the fucking map. So
is Cyberpunk still not on the PSN store?
I'm still not on the store.
no, they're still saying it's not good enough. As far as the patches goes, the patches still hasn't fixed enough issues for Sony to be like, all right, it's to the point that we can sell this game and not have to worry about a mass refund. So
my last point on it is this situation that's happened where we have an alleged great AAA studio, which I never thought they were great. I thought they had one great game. When you released a half-baked project like they did and think that you can like brush it under the rug and say we're gonna fix it later, this is gonna put a lot of the gaming industry on check. And it's sad to see that this is happening again because we've seen it with No Man's Sky. We've seen it with what was the game you mentioned earlier, Chris? Anthem. We've seen it happen with Anthem. Like a lot of these games that come out half baked, they oversold the game and underperformed in terms of what they try to bring to the table. We're not going to put up with it. And now that you have so many investors, like the investors are furious and they're filing class action lawsuits against CD Projekt Red as well. A lot of these other developers better understand that, and especially the leadership team, because it's not just the devs, it's management and it's corporate coming down and saying, hey, this game needs to be done by here. I don't care what issues you guys are coming up with. We need this game out now, and we're gonna drop the game now, no matter what you say. So that's pressure from up top as well.
They need to be realistic about time too.
I remember one of the reports because Jason tried. He talked to like 20 people, right, from CD Projekt, and one of the devs was saying that that they were expecting, or they wanted the game, or they didn't think the game would be ready until 2022. You know what I mean? Like even some of the devs were like, "What the fuck?" It's like, this shit ain't gonna be ready. So I can't put the entire blames on like the developers on the ground, right? On the ground floor, like the foot soldiers, right? The one that are like crunching and putting the programs and shit like that. Like most of the blame obviously has to go on the upper management because they're the one who set the time,
management
the
of time
and shit like that. Yeah, because even some of the devs was like, this shit is fucked. You know what I mean? Like this shit shouldn't even be coming out until 2022. So
they need to definitely just be realistic about their windows of development time and when they release, and like he said, the quality, what should and shouldn't be released. They need to be better with their time management, because this shit is like retarded. We're hearing 2 different times of start development. Oh shit, we scrapped this and then restarted this. It was all over the place. And I mean, now we're getting a little bit of insight of like how it was all over the place. So I mean, it's just be better with your fucking time, yo.
All right. With that being said,
I think part of the just real quick, one of the things I think they can do to redeem themselves is obviously get the game in a working good state, put out the next gen patch, and I think whatever big first expansion that they're gonna do, it's got to be free.
It has to be free.
Well, it's like, did they? I did not see that.
Yeah,
because if they was about to charge that. It's like, do the first one free. The other ones you can charge, but they really need to give that like, hey,
the goodwill back.
Like goodwill, like, everything that this game's been through, we're going to give you that first expansion for free.
Yeah, the first year of updates and DLCs, whatever they do, absolutely, like that should be free. Even like they're talking about multiplayer. Remember, they're still planning on bringing out a multiplayer game.
I think that's
I don't even want that right now. The way this game is, I don't even want that shit. It's just just keep the story focused.
Exactly. They should just keep the story focused and just add on with expansions, and you can expand, more of Night City and shit like that. So I don't know. We'll see, man. We'll see. I mean, honestly, I really think that they are gonna eventually fix it. I think majority of people are forgiving. They will be like, all right, they fixed it, whatever, some shit like that. But to me, honestly, moving forward, I'm definitely gonna be cute. I'm very disappointed by CDPR because they were supposed to be like the good devs and shit like that for the people.
Yeah.
But they ended up showing their ass with this game. So yeah, I'm gonna be very skeptical and with their future projects going forward. You know what I mean? I don't think they right now, because of this, that to me, that I would mention them before. I was like, yeah, top 5 devs that are like the hottest in the industry right now, CDPR and shit like that. But now I gotta take them out of that conversation. You know what I mean? Until they prove themselves again. So
yeah, for sure. Like my last thing, like just like I mean, devs, development teams, games, and all of this stuff is just like there's so many things that go into it, and I'm not a fucking dev anyway, but I could just understand the creative process, like just with albums or films, reshoots, re-records. It's just like certain things like you find later, certain things hit your ear differently, certain things feel differently when you're playing them. So it's just like a lot of these factors. I mean, as much as we like to try to zero in and like pick out the exact thing, is just like ultimately time and how you manage it is always going to hurt you. And it's just like when you try to rush out a project, it's going to really fucking kick you in your ass. So
so you can close it out.
Yeah, like
Cyberpunk. I can't stand this game. But yeah, that's actually in my backlog. I stopped playing that because of Assassin's Creed. But I don't know what's gonna happen.
One more thing, Smooth. My bad. One more thing. Tomorrow is I just gotta say this real quick. Tomorrow is the Resident Evil digital showcase. So
a lot of big YouTubers.
More stuff with Resident Evil 8 Village, and then they're also. I think some people will talk about that they're also teasing maybe some other announcements, so we might get some more, some stuff with like Resident Evil. Some people are speculating another online game. And here's the thing, right? They came out with an online game with Resident Evil 3. That shit was absolutely trash. That shit was trash, right? The Resident Evil Resistance.
Yeah.
Capcom.
That actually came out.
They need to bring back Outbreak. They need to bring back, or they need to bring. Okay, they know what it takes to make an online multiplayer game. They have Monster Hunter. So I don't see why they can't take the structure of what Monster Hunter is and add that to like a Resident Evil world, right? Where you're like in Raccoon City, you're in a hub area in Raccoon City, say like the police departments or whatever, and you could talk to your friends, and then you can go out and do missions, you know what I mean, and fight different zombies and monsters with, you know, co-op with your friends and shit like that in different areas throughout Raccoon City. So I don't know why Capcom just do that shit. They can do that with Monster Hunter. They can do the same structure with Resident Evil. So
yeah,
they could bring back the Outbreak series if you're looking for something like that.
Yeah, exactly. So because the last Resident Evil Resistance was trash. That shit was trash.
Oh, I didn't even realize Resident Evil Resistance was out. Actually, I didn't know it made it past beta. But
exactly. That's how bad it was.
It launched with Resident Evil 3. So like when you bought Resident Evil 3, it was in the game.
Oh,
but it's a separate game.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it's a separate.
So like if you bought Resident Evil 3 digitally, you would get a download notification for both RE3 and RE Resistance.
Gotcha.
Yeah, you could choose not to download. I chose not to even download.
So I know a lot of big YouTubers going to be able to stream Resident Evil Village. I think they're going to do they're streaming like the PC version, a part of this event. I think Dreamcast guy is doing it. Somebody else is doing it. So
there's a demo.
It's not a public demo. It's Capcom invited a couple influencers to play the game for everybody.
Yeah.
So we'll see that tomorrow. I'll try to check it out.
Tall lady. Everybody's so in love with this tall lady. I was like, what? Y'all a bunch of weirdos.
Yeah, people are weird when I don't know what it is. I don't know if it's the quarantine, but people's attraction to things is just like okay.
They horny, man.
Yeah.
They ain't been out the crib in a minute.
So y'all acting super spooky now. Shiggas when fucking Laura Croft was out there with her fucking pointy 2D titties or some shit. Like everybody was acting all googly eyed over her ass too.
When I was a little kid,
had her bent over and stuff. Like, come on, bruh.
Isn't that woman
is way better now, baby.
What is she? Isn't she like possessed or something?
Yeah.
Who gives a shit?
Like, I don't know.
Okay. All right, guys. Thank you guys for watching Planet Xbox episode 45. We'll see you guys next week for episode 46. Dope Boy, thanks for the taking over the mantle, keeping us in order with the topics. Shout out to Old Man Logan. You still gotta. I keep asking you this once a week because I'm curious to play Terminator. I really want to, like
you really want to play Terminator.
Can you take
I think the Coalition can make a good Terminator game.
Yeah,
dude, my idea, Coalition, make it happen. My idea.
If you can sell me this game in 65 seconds.
Man, I don't know if I want to sell you the game.
Because it's like I saw it being played.
It depends. Like I got it on sale for $20, so I'd say for $20, it was about eight hours of gameplay. If you spent any more than 20, I'd hold off on it.
Okay.
It's not a bad game, but it's not a great game. It lays in that perfect medium of mediocrity. And it's like there was some cool moments, but like I don't know, there were some set pieces that was not the best. It seemed like the whole entire game just took place at night. Mm-hmm. There was like one daytime mission, which I just thought was weird. I was like, "What? Terminators only come out at night? Like, is that?
No,
is that a thing?"
No, that's not
the dips because I'm playing on a Series X. The frame rate, I don't think there's any type of upgrades or whatever, but there is an unlock frame rate mode, but sometimes it runs really crappy, but I'm just taking that up to poor optimization because there's games that look way better that run way better on a Series X. And it was just, I don't know, the only cool thing about it was some of the lore that was like kind of towards the end of the game. There's no noteworthy characters. There's no, I don't even remember my main character's name. To be honest.
Damn.
But it was just like something fun I wanted to play through, and I just kind of did it, and I deleted it from my system right when I was done. Mm-hmm. So if you can get it for 20 or below, I'd say go for it. Anything higher than that, I'd pass.
All right, cool. Well, thank you guys.
I'm streaming Halo. Make sure you guys pull up to the stream. I dropped the link in the description. Playing some MCC. If any of you guys want to play Halo with me, pull up.
I gotta get to bed.
Yeah, same here, man. All right, guys. Shout out to Cokeboy. Check out his Halo stream. Also, check out tomorrow. Me and Dre. Let's Talk Games podcast. Back again.
It was Fridays.
Was it Fridays? Oh shit!
Yeah, it was Friday last week.
It's Friday. My bad. So I guess I got tomorrow. I should be dropping a video then. Friday.
You might want to change that abbreviate LTG.
No. I'm not changing that. Oh, because
that's
nobody.
Low tier God.
The thing is, here's the thing about that, right?
LTG right there.
I've had a podcast called Let's Talk Games podcast, and the same thing was LTG. It was in green, yellow,
so I have
and
a
blue
remote
or something
job
like
where
that. When I did it, and it was a podcast. It was the podcast I did before Planet X. Well, I did Writer's Block in between. It was Let's Talk Games podcast, then Writer's Block, and then Planet Xbox. But I did the podcast for like 2 years, and then I stop.
You know what you need to bring back? We need to. I've been meaning to tell you this, but I'll forget. We need apples and oranges again.
Apples and oranges, Chris. You might be good for apples and oranges.
That's what I'm saying. We need an apple orange.
Yeah, I mean, I've been looking for a panel. Like, I don't mind doing apples and oranges. I want to do it. I just don't like. It's like I said, it's where I can be free. So that's why that channel is there.
People don't know what apples and oranges is. It's where like you talk about actual like real world like issues and stuff like that.
Yeah.
You know. So.
Yeah, I didn't even know you knew about that. So.
Yeah, yo, Smooth. I've been watching you for a long time. Since your the first time I knew about you is when you had the first time I saw you is when you had the debate with Shokio's brother. Blackbuster Critters about Killer Instinct.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's when I first seen you. I think that was in 2014 or some shit like that. So.
Yep, my first big break. I baited him into that debate just to get. I was like, all right, good. I can get some subs. I was hustling for YouTube views. I'm not gonna lie, bro. But
you know what's crazy? I was actually on your side on the debate because people weren't giving Killer Instinct a fair chance because they thought it was just like some bullshit like free to play. Like,
yeah.
You know. Yeah. So,
I don't even remember what I said in that debate, honestly. But yeah, guys, thank you guys for watching. It's been a wonderful evening. I'll talk to you guys all in the chat. Anybody who will be on Xbox, I'll likely be on there before I go to sleep. Chris, I'll be talking to you soon. Hit you up on the whole apples and oranges thing because I
check out that leaderboard.
I'm gonna check out the leaderboards. Depending on how I'm feeling, I might try to do something to get back at least in the top 3. All right, guys. As always, Xbox is the best box. I am the best bot. Good night or good morning if you're on the other side of the globe. I am out of here.